This is just John O, and today I'm talking about what I'd call the gap. And what I mean by the gap specifically is there's a ton of archetypical stories, and with those specific stories, there's always a path that you can take. So last night, I was in bed and I was noticing that there was fireworks going on. I heard some birds at night, and I heard some cars going. I heard the train, and I heard a plane. I even heard some animals howling. Now, the reason I brought all this up was for a specific reason. Now, the specific reason would be, let's just say, for example, a beautiful bird that I was hearing outside my window would be beauty. It'd be the archetypical story of beauty, right? And let's just say, for example, fireworks going off would be the archetypical story of war going on and people killing each other and fighting. The archetypical story of a train going by would be um, people, you being a traveler, for example, you being the train, and then people coming on and off you really quickly. So they'd be leaving your station very fast. They'd meet you really quickly. They'd get on. It'd be a mass amount of people. They wouldn't really know much about you because the way you're traveling is so fast as a train, and then they'd exit. And then the other archetypical story would be a car. So the car would be you again traveling. And then if you're traveling, you can only keep about maybe 2 to 3 people in your car, or 3 or 4 at max. And you can actually get to see the view of where you're going, but you're more so just traveling and you're on a journey. And you could be going fast or slow, but it only has a limited amount of people that can be on that in the car. And then, for example, an airplane. So, what the airplane would be in the archetypical story would be you being the airplane and you traveling, first of all, in the air, which would mean you'd be going to different foreign lands compared to the car and the train when it comes to traveling. And you could take a mass amount of people and you could probably get them to a new destination they'd never been to before, which would either be good for them or bad for them. Now, another thing I noticed was, let's just say, for example, the sound of children playing. That could be the archetypical story of play. Now, uh, what I noticed was, let's just say women, for example, could be, or the any, it depends. And if you're a girl, it'd be men, right? The sound of birds in the morning or at night would be the sound of beauty. And so, what beauty has to try to figure out about you, whether they like you or not, is that are you actually following God's plan? Because let's just say you're one of those 4 archetypical stories I said, or you could even be the archetypical story of playing as a playing people playing like children. And this wouldn't mean you are a child, but this would mean the spirit of play. So what I'm saying is, if you are the fireworks going off, what you're telling beauty is it's dangerous and stay away. And people are gonna get hurt. And beauty, like the bird, can't be chirping in a sound ridden environment that is very loud and very chaotic and even deadly, because there could be gun smoke. The bird could pass away because of that. It could be terrified because of the noise, and it could actually physically see people on the ground laying, bleeding, and dying. Now, another archetypical story that the bird may not understand if it's beauty and it's trying to get to know you is and appreciate you is if you are the airplane. Now, the airplane could be the example of you being able to soar too high for beauty. Because if beauty is just a bird and you are a plane, you'd be flying too high and you'd be going too far of a distance. So beauty can't really even keep up with you or ever get to um, know why you're even able to go that high, and it can't follow. The same thing applies to the car, and the same thing applies to the train. So with the train, the beauty, which would be the bird can't even get on the train, because if it tries to get on the train, aka as in admire you in life, get on with your programming and try to understand what you're doing and appreciate it, it's gonna notice you're gonna be going lightning fast, and then it'll have to get off and it'll have to get on its new stop. It'll have to get off the subway station that it was previously on, and then it'd be about a minute or two, and then it'd get off that subway station. Hope this makes sense for if you're watching, because this is just my point. So another final archetypical example for beauty, which would be the car. The car is another example. It could be moving too fast for the bird, aka beauty, so beauty can't really understand how to interact with that person that would be a traveler. Now, for example, of the sound of children playing, right? That could be the example of what beauty might actually be trying to uh, be able to watch and follow, because if children are playing, or if you're playing in general, or you have the spirit of play, beauty is able to appreciate you from a distance and watch you and admire you. AKA, it could be in its tree, its home, and it could be watching you, and it could be chirping peacefully. You could even do this if you're having the spirit of play when it comes to trying to interact with beauty in your life. It has to do with the bird could be chirping, and then let's just say you give the bird maybe some food, or you give it, you created a new nest, or you wait for it to approach you and fly over to you, and then you could slowly pet it or keep it at a close distance. This could be the example of beauty. Now, I'm saying all this because this has to do with the gap, which is what I was talking about. The gap which could be uh, the archetypical story you're playing out. Now, let's just say, for example, you want to play out a much better story. You're going to have to know what gap you're having in between your story, because if you don't, maybe something like beauty or the spirit of play, or even traveling, or if it's time to be into war or fighting, metaphorically, and this could be in a spiritual sense that could turn into a physical sense, you got to know what story you're playing out. And you have to know how to apply that into your life so that you actually are a full-rounded person, and you don't mess up and miss your opportunity, or not know what archetypical story you're playing out, and why another archetypal story doesn't want to be around you. Anyways, this is Just John O. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.